Once you're satisfied with your green screen, what I like to do is add a drop shadow effect. This way I can separate myself from whatever I put behind me. And if that doesn't work, then I like to use my own custom animated stroke thing. You can see right here, which if you want to learn how to do, subscribe to the channel, and I might make a tutorial on it. You guys thought I forgot about this, didn't you? Listen, I know I've never been consistent with my uploading, but there's a good reason for it, I swear. So yeah, today I'm going to show how to actually pull this off. I'm going to be using After Effects for a majority of this video, but you can actually do this entire process inside of Premiere, though it's not as effective, so be warned. Before we even start a new project, we have to think about what kind of pattern we want to use. It could be whatever you want, as long as it's repeating. And for this video, I'm going to be using a Photoshop file that I created myself that has a bunch of different patterns already made for you guys. If you want to follow along, I'll leave it down below in the description. If this is your first time using After Effects, you should see a screen like this. Head over to the New Project button and you should now see this screen. Click on New Composition and name it whatever you want. I'm going to name mine Halftone Backdrop. Assuming everything's correct, your width should be 1920 by 1080. Your frame rate should be set to 60, and for this example specifically, I'm going to set the duration to 5 seconds. To actually import a pattern, head over to the project panel over here on the left, and double click anywhere inside this panel here to bring up the file explorer. Look for where you saved your pattern and double click on it to import it. If you're using my Photoshop file, you should see this pop up asking how you want to import it. For our case, we want to use composition, retain layer sizes, and editable layer styles. Then just click OK. Now to add a background, right click on the left side of the timeline and hit New, and then go down to Solid. Alright, next drag your pattern onto the timeline. Then right click on the timeline and go to New, and instead of going to Solid, we're now going to be going to Null Object. Next, under Parent and Link, select the pattern that we want to use and select Null 1. Now highlight the Null Object and hit P on your keyboard. This should now bring your position keyframes up. In my case, I have it separated by X and Y, but normally it would just be both of them together. Select on the stopwatch at the very beginning of the timeline, and that should create a linear keyframe. Now head to the very end of the timeline and click on this button here. Since I want to do a slow rise for my repeating pattern, I'm going to lower the keyframes by 38 pixels, leaving this to be 502. Now if I play it back, let's say from 10 frames before the animation repeats, it should now create a perfect loop. Yes, it did. Now before we head over to the exporting phase, I'm first going to go over to the Effects and Presets panel. I'm going to look for the tint effect and then apply that to the white solid and the pattern that we made earlier. Hold on, I'll explain we're going to be using that for in a second. Click on the composition and go to Open in Essential Graphics. A new panel should appear on your screen, and this is how we're going to import it into Premiere Pro. Highlight the pattern and hit E on your keyboard to bring up the tint effect that we just applied. Click on the little arrow here and drag the Matte Black 2 over to Essential Graphic. Now just do the same for the white solid, but this time select Map White 2. Finally, we can export the project here by clicking on Export Motion Graphics Template. In your Premiere project, assuming you took the time to properly green screen yourself, if not, do that first. Head over to the Essential Graphics panel and click on this little icon over here. Find where you saved the MOGIT that we made, and it should now be an option here that you can access whenever you want. Duplicate the green screen video by holding Alt and dragging it up above the original. Then highlight both of them and drag it up one more layer. Drag the backdrop MOGIT underneath the two green screens, and right now it's not doing anything because we still need to add the secret sauce, that being the track matte key. Go to the effects panel and drag that onto the backdrop and set the matte to the video layer of the bottom green screen. In my case, it would be the third video layer. Now just move the position to wherever you feel like. Now back to the Essential Graphics, you should see a button called Edit. Click that and you should see the black and white tint effects that we added earlier. Set it to whatever color you want. I'm gonna set this one to red, and as you can see, the color now changes to how I wanted it to. Do the same for black. I'm going to set it to a darker shade of red. And there you have it. A really cool, in my opinion, animated backdrop that you can use in your videos. If you guys enjoyed the video, be sure to subscribe to the channel. And yeah, that's about it. See ya.